I'm a 2026 graduate. I started submitting resumes last fall, around October and November, and so far I have 0 offers. I don't understand why jobs are so hard to find these days. I've been working hard since I started university. I've received scholarships and participated in many entrepreneurship competitions, including various student experiences. Back then, I firmly believed that as long as my resume had enough attractive content, I would definitely find a good job. But now it's not a question of whether I can find a good job, but rather no company wants me anyway. My biggest regret is that I started looking for a job immediately after graduation. From graduation until now, I've been mentally drained, endlessly tormented. Everyone online and in real life says that your first job is very important. You have to choose the right industry for your first job. It determines your life. My gosh, I believed it. I desperately tried to find a good job, but after 6 months, I didn't get a single offer I liked. Only now do I realize that in the end, ordinary people are all the same. They can only get into some ordinary, low-paying, small company. In recent years, China's economy has continued to weaken, and the unemployment situation has become increasingly severe. Some unemployed people have to sleep on the streets, and some huddle in their cars to spend the night. Recently, a middle-aged man in Ningbo, Zhejiang province, was laid off and dared not tell his family. He spent his days looking for work, and his nights were forced to sleep in his car. However, even this way cannot last long. According to the Ningbo Evening News, the man was suddenly laid off some time ago. To avoid worrying his family, he lied and said he was going on a business trip, but actually slept in his car. He spent his days sending out resumes and looking for opportunities, but repeatedly failed. He slept in the car every night. By the 7th day, his phone battery was dead, and he had run out of money. To make matters worse, he frequently used the car battery to charge his phone, causing the car to lose power and become unable to start, leaving him stranded in a parking lot. Desperate, he asked a traffic policeman for help. Before he could even speak, tears streamed down his face. Covering his face, he choked out, "I really can't bear it anymore." Many netizens lamented, "It's so hard for ordinary people to live. The national economy is sluggish. 2026 might be the best year yet. Next year will be even harder." I'm 33 years old, laid off after 10 years of working in Beijing. Did I regret buying a home in Beijing at its peak for $600,000 back then? In 2020, at the peak, I emptied my savings and gritted my teeth to buy a small 2-bedroom condo for nearly $600,000. The excitement of drawing the permission to buy a home back then is now matched by the heartache. 6 years have passed and house prices have plummeted, leaving me with a $140,000 loss. And then I was laid off with no income whatsoever. My husband is the sole breadwinner for the whole family. With the mortgage monthly payment and 2 children to raise, we have to be very careful with our money and save wherever we can. My husband is facing layoffs. He couldn't escape the wave of unemployment. The layoff process for my husband actually started last July and has continued until now. The company has tried to talk to him on and off many times, but we haven't reached an agreement. My husband, Piao Piao, is a game art designer. He worked diligently for 12 years, and in 2024, he received an A+ performance review, plus an extra $3,000 bonus. The company has already gone through several rounds of restructuring, but unexpectedly, it is his turn in the end. As to this year's business, impulsive people can't do it. People with heart problems can't do it. People with high blood pressure can't do it. People with sleep problems can't do it. Young people can't do it. Older people can't do it either. Basically, most people can't do it. It's too difficult. When there's no business, you should go out and explore. When you find that other places have no business either, you'll feel much better. There's no need to queue at Bao Wang Cha Ji anymore. Supermarkets are empty. Restaurants are empty. 32-year-old master's graduate suddenly laid off after 7 years in the internet industry. Did I regret spending $700,000 on a condo in Beijing? I'm 32 years old, a master's graduate, and have been working in the internet industry for 7 years. My husband and I bought a 2-bedroom condo in Beijing for $700,000, with a down payment of $340,000 and a loan of $420,000. I thought this was our home after years of working in Beijing, a stable start. But in early April, without warning, I was laid off. No prior notice, I was told to leave in the afternoon, and that evening I lost my right to work. 7 years of professional experience and stable income came to an abrupt end. I've been in Beijing for 10 years now, currently renting a small bedroom within the second ring road. I chose it because of the convenient location and transportation, but the apartment is old and dilapidated. The rent for this small bedroom is $340 for me personally. Since becoming unemployed, I can't stop paying Social Security. Beijing's Social Security contributions are around $350 per month, and that's the lowest tier. I can say no other city is that expensive. Even without eating or drinking, my monthly expenses are close to $700. Alas, the pressure is really immense. Documenting the life of a 37-year-old single, unemployed, and struggling Beijing drifter. Good morning, sisters. After the Chinese New Year, I'm completely demoralized. I don't want to look for a job at all. I just want to lie down from morning till night. Many people ask me why I didn't find a job back home and instead came to Beijing. Because I've lived in a big city since I was 20 and I'm already a bit out of touch with my hometown. My living environment is different now and I don't even know what kind of job I could do back in my hometown. Generally speaking, there are more opportunities in big cities, plus my social circle and my condo are all in Beijing, and I'm more used to living in Beijing. I got paid today $3,700 after taxes. This might be the last time I get paid this much. I'm 32 years old, have a master's degree, and have worked in the internet industry for 7 years. This month, my direct supervisor resigned, and I was also laid off. The moment I lost my job, I panicked and felt very anxious. Thinking about our monthly mortgage payment of around $2,000 and the 1-year-old baby to raise, I felt immense pressure, but life has to go on. After a few days of adjustment, I've sorted out my plans for the future. Finding a job is the top priority right now. Programmer in his 30s working in Beijing has been unemployed for over 2 months. I don't dare tell my family, and every day I get up early as usual, pretending to go to work, and wander around outside until dark before returning home. My mother is old, and I'm afraid she'll worry, so I keep it a secret. My wife is very understanding and hasn't said much, but I feel worse than anyone else. The life he thought was stable has suddenly lost its direction. In the quiet of the night, I really panic and feel lost, not knowing where to go next. I just hope things will slowly get better. When I was 32 years old, I lost my job. I couldn't survive this round of layoffs. I joined this company in 2018, so it's been 8 years. A few days ago, my project manager talked to me, asking if I could accept being transferred to a branch office in another city. Otherwise, I'd have to quit the project. At the time, I was working on a new project, and then I received a layoff notice. When I first received the notice, I felt completely empty. It wasn't a hysterical breakdown, but a sudden feeling of not knowing what to do without a job. Have you noticed? In the last 2 years, people haven't been spending money as much, especially this year. It's really obvious. A few days ago, I went to Financial Island and there weren't any lines at those trendy restaurants. Now, when people are shopping, they're not carrying desserts or milk tea. Most of them are carrying 2 starch sausages for 70 cents. Yes, you heard right. After wandering around, I found that starch sausages are the most popular item. The pretty restaurants are sparsely populated, and coffee shops and dessert shops have hardly any customers. There are far more people sitting and resting than actually buying anything. After 11 years of working in Beijing, my husband and I were both laid off. In our 30s, we finally returned to our rural hometown with disappointment and uncertainty. Today is our second day back home. The biggest feeling since returning is that we can no longer distinguish between weekdays and weekends. These past few days, we've been able to sleep until we naturally wake up every day. After more than 10 years of working in Beijing, we have never been able to stop and rest so peacefully and steadily before. This morning, I saw my husband changing my father-in-law's phone. He'd accidentally lost it a couple of days ago. Are there any others like us who have been both laid off and had their salaries reduced? Facing nearly $1,200 a month in rent and mortgage payments, should we sell the house to cut our losses? Or give up our Shanghai drifting journey and go back to our hometown? In 2 days, it will be time to pay the mortgage and rent again. Right now, the monthly mortgage and mortgage payments feel like a huge boulder, making it hard to breathe. Currently, the mortgage in Zhengzhou, Hernan, plus the rent in Shanghai totals $1,100. I'm currently unemployed and can only rely on unemployment benefits to make ends meet. My husband's salary for this month is still delayed. If this continues, I'll really lose my job. I opened at 6:50 this morning. It's 4 p.m. now and I've sold less than $140. Yesterday, a customer wanted grilled sausages, so I grilled 12 today, sold 3, and ate 2 myself. This business is really impossible to run. At my age, it'll be hard to find a job.
出去找工作怕是都不好找。
明天就是5一了，今天的猪
Tomorrow
肉
is
还
May
是
Day
卖
and
不动，
pork
到
sales are
现
still
在营业
sluggish.
额才
So far,
700
my
多，跟我
turnover
想
is
象
only
中的差远
$100,
了。
far below my
你们生意都
expectations.
怎么样呢？
How's
同行
business
们
for
卖多少
everyone?
了？快过节
Fellow
了，生意有没有
entrepreneurs,
好
how
一点？
much have
咱
you
们趁着
sold?
心意
With the
聊一聊。
holiday approaching, has business improved?
我年前被裁员，以
I
后
was
在
laid
家
off
创业的
before
收
the
入也
Chinese
不
New
是
Year,
很
and
稳
my
定。
income from
现在
starting
在
a
考虑
business
是
at
否继
home
续北漂的
afterward
问题
isn't
了。
very stable.
大家是否也
Now
经历
I'm
过突然
considering
失业
whether to
呢？
continue
接下
drifting
来
in
的路到底应
Beijing.
该怎么
Have
选？
any of you
年后不
experienced
管是
sudden
自媒体还是
unemployment?
网店，
What should you
收入都
choose
很差。
next?
虽然在
After
老
the
家待的
Chinese
确
New
实
Year,
很
whether
安
it's
逸，
self-media
但我也
or
必须面
online
对现
stores,
实了。
income is
作为
very
一个没有
bad.
托举的农
While
村女
staying in my
生，需
hometown
要
is
的是努
certainly
力挣钱。
comfortable, I have
自
to
从我
face
更新简历之
reality.
后，从
As a
宁波到
rural
现
girl
在，
without
感
any
觉北京工作
connections,
机
what
会
I
多
need
了
to
一
do is
些。
work hard
如
to
果是
earn
有公司
money.
联系我，
Since
我也该
updating
准
my
备准备
resume
面
from
试的
the
事
end of
情
the
了。
year until now, I feel there are more job opportunities in Beijing. Companies contact me from time to time, and I should start preparing for interviews.
我可能要活不
I
下去
might
了。
not be able to
今天
survive.
是我
Today
躺
is my
出租的
209th
209
day
天。
lying in a
如
rental
果
room.
你和我
If
一
you're like
样，
me,
没有
without a
工
job,
作，
without
没有
income,
收
and
入，
feeling
天
anxious
天
and
焦
lost
虑
every
又迷
day,
茫，
don't be
也害怕。
afraid.
其实你
You're
不是
not
一个人，
alone. Most
现在大
unemployed
部
people are
分
like this
失业的
now.
人都会这样。
Without the
没有忙
hectic
碌的节
pace,
奏，
life has become
日子反而
simpler.
简单了起来。
Occasionally anxious, but most of the
但
time
更
I'm
多时
enjoying
候
this rare
是在
freedom,
享
watching
受
dramas,
这份
eating
难得的
snacks,
自由，
daydreaming,
追
and
剧、
repeating the
吃零
cycle.
食。
北漂10年失业后回老家
After 10
创业，
years
2
of
年后
drifting
我
in
们为什么
Beijing,
又选
losing
择
my
继续
job,
北
and
漂
starting
了？
a
给我
business
们
back
又
in my
负债
hometown
了，
for 2
还白
years,
了我的
why
小
did we
屋。
choose to resume drifting in
中午12点
Beijing?
到的北京，
Because we're
家
in
3口
debt
直接去看
again.
房，
Haha,
下午1点就租
goodbye,
好
my
房
little
啦。
apartment.
10年北漂，
We
我们住
arrived
10
in
年的只能
Beijing
觉得
at
快速
noon,
搬
and the
家。
three of us went
先
straight
说
to
说我
look
的
at
情况吧。
apartments.
我
We
老公
rented one
92
by
年
1
34
p.m.
岁，
After
一个技
10
工只有
years in
88分
Beijing,
程序
our
员。
most proficient
我
skill
96
is
年目前
quickly
在盖
settling
瓦市管
down.
住店，
Let me tell you
闺
about
女
my
养尊3个
family.
月，
My
很经受
husband
本
was
受。
born in
我老公在北京
1992,
做了
is
人才厂
34
10多
years
年了，
old, and
一
is a
边在公司
programmer
上
who
班，一
weighs
边做
only
自己
88
项目，相当于做2
pounds.
份工。
I was
2年
born
前
in
赶上被裁后
1996 and
续
am
找工作
currently a
碰壁，
stay-at-home mom
学历受
owning a
限，
toy
偶尔有的
store.
机会还
Our
降薪
daughter
一
is 2
半。
years and 3 months
刚
old
生完
and a
孩子，
real money
2边父
pit.
母都帮
My
忙，
husband has
都
worked
不
as
是
a
好找工
software
作，忙
developer
小
in
自己手里
Beijing
也有
for
点
over
资
10
源，
years,
回家干自
working
由
for a
职，还
company
能
while
帮我看
also
着孩
doing
子。
his own
加上
projects.
我们太原的房子
Essentially
都已
2
经租好好
jobs.
几年了。
The blogger said that after returning to their hometown of Taiyuan, they worked for 2 years. Although they saved some money, they quickly discovered that the cost of living in Taiyuan was not low, not much different from Beijing. Especially after the birth of their child, various expenses skyrocketed. After much deliberation, they decided to return to Beijing to continue their lives as drifters, hoping to save more money and gradually stabilize their family of 3's life.
现在最惨的人根
The
本就不
most
是搬砖
miserable
打螺
people
丝啊
nowadays aren't the
那是谁呀
bricklayers or
是那些
screwdrivers.
守着
Who
小
are
店
they?
被生
They're the
活
small
在地上
business
摩擦的
owners,
个体
their
户
small shops
他
being
们哪是做
relentlessly
生意
exploited
呀
by
人
life.
家就是拿
They're
自己的
not
生
running a
命给日
business,
子抵
they're
债
practically risking
大
their
多人
lives
至
to
少
pay
都
the
盼望有个
price.
周末
At
没
least
有双
factory
休也有
workers
单
can
休
hope
吧
for a
可是
weekend,
那些小
or
老
at least
板
a single
们这
day
是
off.
365 天
But these
全
small
年无
business
休
owners work
自从当了老板
365 days
一
a
年
year
到头都
without a
忙
break.
逛街
Since
没时间
becoming
约会没
bosses,
时
they're
间
busy
打牌
all
没
year
时间旅游
round.
没时
No
间
time
不
for
开门不死
shopping,
心
no
开
time
门
for
连死的
parties,
心都
no
有
time for
说你
playing
穷啊
cards,
你还有
no
个店
time for
说你富
travel.
吧
They
你兜
won't
里脸
give
都
up
干净
until they
说
open
你
their
懒
doors.
了你这一
Once
天
they
从早
open,
忙到
they
晚
feel like
说你勤
dying.
快吧
失业了，被裁员了。我也是走上了。
I am unemployed, laid off. I've also embarked on this path of being laid off and unemployed at 35. I came to Beijing about 2 years ago. Even then, I felt it was very difficult to find a job. Finding a job in Beijing is so hard. It's also outsourcing companies. And since I was already over 30, I only had interviews with outsourcing companies. Then, because I had a long gap year, about half a year, I thought I'd take any outsourcing company interviews I could get.
可能也没有想中那么差呢。
The blogger said that when he interviewed at an outsourcing company, they got along quite well, and he had a good impression of the company, so he was hired smoothly. He originally thought the job was relatively stable, but unexpectedly, after working there for a year and 10 months, he suddenly received a layoff notice. He sighed helplessly. This is probably life.
乖乖呀，我勒个乖乖呀！
Oh my god, good heavens, look at the street, look at the shopping mall. There's nobody here, absolutely
没有
nobody.
人呐，根本没有人。以前也这里
This used to be the most bustling place, packed with people, but look at it now, not a soul in
看
sight.
看看看现在，一个人都
Doesn't
没
that
有，
hurt?
扎不扎心？嗯。
35岁，北漂10年。
35 years old, 10 years of drifting in Beijing, I left my job. A while ago, the company restructured its departments and our entire team faced the prospect of reassigning positions. The company offered two options. First, you can be reassigned to a new department. Second, you can choose to leave and receive N+1 compensation as per regulations. My colleagues have different plans. Some are staying to adapt to their new roles, some are taking their compensation and returning to their hometowns, and others are leveraging their experience to switch companies. At 35, I'm very clear about my situation. The uncertainty in the workplace is increasing, and even if I stay this time, I may still face the risk of layoffs in the next few years.
做一天了。
Sitting here all day, not a single deal. Not earning a penny, alas. What should we do? It's already May Day, and today is April 30th. Does business feel particularly bad this week? We are too. Before this week, our store had a monthly turnover of about $10,000. But this week has been quite bleak. I believe that most, 80% of physical stores in China are in this situation.
昨天刚办完离职。
I just finished my resignation yesterday, ending 20 years of drifting in Beijing, packing my bags to go back to northeast China. Looking back on these 20 years, I've written a lot of code and done a lot of projects.
项目没少做。
Now it's all AI, and people don't need to write code anymore.
也不用人写代码了。
In late April, a middle-aged man in Dongguan, Guangdong province, spent 7 consecutive days in his car after suffering a series of devastating blows, drawing widespread public attention. According to reports, the 47-year-old man, surnamed Chen, was originally a mid-level manager at a local manufacturing company. Within a month, he was first laid off, then his wife filed for divorce, and then his elderly mother was diagnosed with a serious illness and hospitalized. Unable to cope with these successive blows, he parked his car in the parking lot of his residential complex, closed the windows, and stayed inside for a full week, refusing to eat or drink until he was found by a patrolling security guard and taken to the hospital. Upon examination, Mr. Chen was found to be severely dehydrated and suffering from an electrolyte imbalance. Fortunately, he received timely treatment and avoided more serious consequences. One netizen commented on social media, "I've also experienced something similar. I've also spent several days in my car." That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.